This is 71 Magazine, and we're here at the Stephen F. Austin Hotel with screenwriter James V. Hart. Hi, James.
Hello.
Very nice to be talking to you.
Thank you. It's my favorite hotel in Austin.
Wonderful. It's very beautiful. And I believe congratulations are in order too, right? Lifetime Achievement Award?
A Lifetime Achievement Award scares me. Somebody either saw my EKG or my blood test or read my last script. So they figure it's over. But thank you.
Oh, well. I don't think the script is going to be a problem. You've written some really amazing stuff. Contact, Dracula. And Dracula's a big year for that as well.
25 years.
Wonderful.
Over the heart that doesn't beat if you're a vampire. So.
Oh, of course. And you've said in previous interviews that you had, I guess, kind of a unique focus for Dracula. You wanted to get back to the original story.
Yes, there had been over 100 Dracula films done when I first started trying to do Bram Stoker's Dracula. I made the mistake of reading the book that apparently had never been read by anybody in Hollywood. I found out that Dracula did not die with a stake in the heart. Spoiler for those of you that have not seen the film, Dracula was killed by a Texan with a Bowie knife through his heart and then cut off his head. When I read that, I said, I'm making this movie. And to the point where even my hometown Fort Worth critics, when the film opened, said, who does Jim Hart think he is, putting a Texan with a Bowie knife in a Dracula movie? And it's in the book. So the book was fantastic. It was not like any film that had ever been done.
And I've seen many other versions of Dracula as well, and I see exactly what you're saying about the character just not being quite the character from the book.
No.
But I think they did a really good job with it there, and that you did as well.
Well, Francis Coppola embraced the book, the novel, and he embraced the screenplay. He let all the characters that Stoker created survive. He followed the narrative the way nobody's ever done, including the big John Ford shootout at the end. He let the narrative be driven by journals and by notebooks and telegrams and letters, the way the novel was constructed. He even let Dracula walk around in the daylight, which nobody had ever done. And when the studio said, no, you can't do that, Francis said, it's in the book. And Stoker actually explains why a vampire can walk around in daylight, which is a wonderful scene with Gary Oldman and his sunglasses and his cool suit, cruising London looking to pick up ladies, And that was a big step to allow that scene to happen. Nobody had ever done that.
The costumes were amazing as well. Eiko, yes.
Eiko Shioka.
Yes.
Eiko, we lost her way too soon. Francis wanted the costumes to be like sets. He wanted them to bring to the experience like a great opera or a great theatrical piece. And she was amazing. We became very great friends. She went on to do great work in other films, but I had never been around someone like her where she actually took what was written on the page as the character and found a way to embrace that character in the costume. And she would come to me and go, is this the right color? And she would actually color code the characters' names in the script with the colors that she thought they represented. Great lady. And she won an Academy Award.
That's wonderful. And really, the costumes are very theatrical.
That's what Francis wanted. He wanted to be like a gothic fever dream of an opera. He didn't want any CG effects. He didn't want any Hollywood tricks. Everything that was done in the film was old-fashioned way, silent movie making. Roman Coppola came in and did all the miniatures and old forced perspective sets. He didn't want to have anything modern in terms of technology in the film.
Another one that I just love, we all love, the whole team absolutely loves it, is Contact. Brilliant film.
That's 20 years old this year.
Yes.
Such the lifetime I'm beginning to see now. Why? That was Carl Sagan. That was 2.5 years of Carl Sagan before he died. That he and his wife Andrea, and we had an incredible time developing that project. And Jodie Foster actually, she's the reason the film got made. She went through 3 other writers and 2 directors to get that film made. And without her, it never would have happened.
So what drew you to that project?
Since there's no intelligent life on this planet, there must be intelligent life in the universe, given the current state of things.
Yes.
I grew up with surrounded with science fiction, reading Robert Heinlein, reading Asimov, watching Tom Carver's Space Cadet on TV, and Buzz Sawyer and Flash Gordon, and the Texas sky when you grow up is incredible to watch. I was a space shuttle. I wanted to be an astronaut on the moon. I wanted to do all of that. And Carl Sagan was the first kind of scientist that really spoke to the people, that he really reached out and brought people into that experience. And I always believed that there was life on other planets. How could there not be? The line in the script in the movie, if it's just us, what a waste of space. You know, why would any god or higher form of being go to all this trouble to create a universe for just us? You know, got to do better than that. So I was drawn to it because it was the first really scientific approach to what would happen if we were contacted by extraterrestrial intelligence. No aliens, no spaceships, no guys with no little green men, no flying saucers, but what would really happen, and that's what fascinated me about the project. I don't think they've done it since. Arrival, I thought was wonderful, but there was just an article in the Washington Post about Contact 20 years later. It's still the template and the benchmark for this kind of a grown-up adult sci-fi.
Of course, one more that I guess I was the generation that really this spoke to as well, Hook. I was a little kid when that came out, and I loved it so much.
It's interesting you say that. We showed Hook here 4 years ago, and Dante Bosco came to town with me, who played Rufio. And we had a screening here to celebrate, actually 3 years ago. And it was quite moving. First time Dante and I had seen the film together since he was 15 years old. And I took him into one of my favorite restaurants out on Lamar, and he was 41 years old. And we walk in the restaurant, everybody goes, "Rufio! Rufio!" And we had just lost Bob Hoskins a few months before. Great friend, great mate. And we were both sitting there watching the film, marveling at Robin Williams' performance. He's the only person I ever had in mind when I wrote the character of a grown-up Peter Pan. There was nobody else who could do it. In fact, these are sneakers that Robin gave me on a couple of films later, and I've been wearing them constantly since we lost him. Both of those men were great human beings and brought a lot of joy to people. I could never imagine anybody playing a grown-up Peter Pan.
I agree. It was perfect. And this has been really, really wonderful. Is there anything else that you'd like to add about any of these films, any others?
You know, people ask me, what's your favorite film so far? And I don't think I've done it yet. You know, I'd like to think that if I did get a Lifetime Achievement Award and it's not over, that I've got a couple left in me. Each one of the films I've done, August Rush was the last film I did with Robin, our last time together. Very special experience for me. I will say that Austin has been a kind of a mecca for me. The Austin Film Festival resurrected me in '94, and I've been here every year since for the festival. Austin's a great center for culture in terms of cinema language and film history and celebrating film. And I'm glad to be part of the launch of this magazine, and would hope that it does great things and brings an awareness of the arts to more than just the Stephen F. Austin. You know? I will say this to all you writers out there. This took me a while to realize it, but I think that I'm not just a writer. I'm a job creator. And not just me, but all the writers who have the courage to sit down and write and face that blank page and do it every day. Potentially you're creating hundreds and thousands of jobs. And my friend Frank Pearson, who was my mentor, was the first one who told me, he said, just don't worry, kid. When you're feeling depressed and down and nobody cares about what you write, nobody cares about your scripts or what you're writing, just remember, nobody has a job in this town, in this business, until you type the end. So if I can leave anything for writers that are out there that are wondering if they have value, yeah, you do. Because nobody has a job till you type the end. So you have to type the end. The end.
Yes, I love it. I absolutely love it. That's amazing. Well, thank you, Jim, so much for your time.
Thank you. My pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Austin.